It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. All right, fam. Today we're talking about something that gets skipped constantly, especially by the women who have that mindset of go hard or go home kind of type, which... Side note, yes, I love that mentality, truly, but it does need boundaries or it will burn you out. So today we're going to be talking about why you may need a deload. Now, before we can have a deload, we have to load. In order to have a deload, you need to load. So you actually need to be training hard enough with enough intensity and volume consistently long enough to actually warrant needing a deload. I just want to say that first. There's my caveat. All right, what is a deload? A deload week is a planned period where you back off the intensity or volume of your training on purpose. Not because you're lazy, not because you've given up, but because your body needs it to keep making progress. Here's what most women get wrong. They think progress is linear. You just push, and the results just keep stacking. But that is not how the body works. Think about it like this. When you train, you're not actually building anything in the gym. You're creating stress. The muscles, the joints, the nervous system, they all take a hit. The growth and the adaptations happen after while you're recovering. And if you never let that recovery catch up, you're just piling stress on top of stress and eventually something gives. And eventually that is what happens. Even when you do have pretty decent recovery in between sessions, you can still accumulate a lot of fatigue and it can be really worthwhile mentally and physically to have this deload. You know, someone is training hard, you're doing everything right on paper. And if you start to notice that your numbers are going backwards, your sleep's getting worse, you're more irritable, little niggles start showing up in your shoulder, the knee, your lower back. And maybe your first instinct is, oh no, I'm getting lazy, I better push harder. No, woman, no. That is your body waving a white flag, not asking for more. Your central nervous system needs recovery just as much as your muscles do. When it's fried, your strength will start to drop, your form will break down, and the risk of injury goes way up. So here's how to tell if you really need a deload. You don't need to guess blindly and you don't need to program it like every 4 weeks, have a deload week. Like you don't have to do it like that. You can do it when you really start to see the signs. Your lifts have stalled or gone backwards for 2 or more weeks in a row, even though you're eating and sleeping fine. You're more fatigued than usual, even outside the gym. Your motivation to train has tanked, and it's not just a rough week, it's been consistent. And small aches that used to shake off after a warm-up are starting to stick around. And your sleep quality has dropped, even though nothing else has changed. If a few of those are ticking boxes for you, that's your body asking for a deload. Not a full stop, just a strategic pause. So here's what a deload actually looks like. This is where people get confused. A deload isn't a week off the couch eating chips. It's a planned reduction. You've still got options here. So you can drop your weights down to, around 50 to 60% of what you'd normally lift, keeping the same reps and sets, just lighter. You can keep the same weight, but cut your volume down, so fewer sets across the week. Less repetitions, less sets. So maybe instead of doing, 100 kilo leg press for 10 and 10 reps, you'll do 100 kilo leg press for 6 and 6 reps. Something like that, for example. You can switch to a lighter, more restorative movement. Think walking, mobility work, or a bike ride. Or swimming or yoga. Sometimes actually having a week not walking into the gym can be really nice. Just having a real planned break. And the goal isn't to undo your progress, it's to let your body catch up to the work you've already been putting in. So programming deloads, I personally don't like pre-planning them because you never know how you're going to respond, how you're going to feel. Life may show up. You may accidentally have a deload in the mix too. So after, 6 to 8 to 10 weeks of hard training, you may start to notice that you do need just one of those weeks where you just pull back a little bit. Sometimes it's before you start a new program. You really push super hard, then you start a new program and then you build your numbers from there. That's another really nice option. If you're you've got to really tune in with yourself though. Notice if it's just one off day, you had a shitty night's sleep, had an off training session versus no, this is really lingering. I need a deload week. And you may accidentally even start doing one because you're starting to pull back a little bit. And if a full deload just feels like too much of a mental hurdle right now, just drop one training session. Go a bit lighter, do something different, see how you feel. If you kind of get a bit of relief from it and you're like, oh, actually it was really good to give myself permission to have a break, then you know you need a proper deload week. Backing off isn't quitting. It's That's not weakness. It's not you being soft. It's being smart enough to play the long game. Anyone can go hard for a week, but the women who get real lasting results are the ones who know when to push and when to pull back. And that's not being inconsistent. That's actually consistency done properly over years and not weeks. So if you've been grinding nonstop and wondering why you're stalling, aching, or just over it, this is your permission slip to program the deload in. Trust the process. The body isn't asking you to quit. It's asking you to be strategic. And if this has helped, share it with a friend who's also been going hard with 0 breaks. You know, we all have one. I'm probably that friend. I'm probably the friend people are going to send this episode to. But even I really enjoy having deload weeks. Like there's weeks where I'm like, when I have a deload week, I'm like, I actually really enjoyed not even thinking twice about the gym for a break. I love the gym. It's been a part of my life for, over 15 years. I love it. But sometimes having like a couple of days off and just not thinking about it is also really bloody enjoyable too. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me, Sammy_livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me, Livestrong, on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.